So let's get into it. So our HBCU spotlight. Hey, so we have the FCS All-American team, and these are the top players from the MEAC and the SWAC, as well as Tennessee State and Hampton, heading into the 2018 season. So this is the first team offense. We have Lamar Raynard for North Carolina A&T at quarterback. Running back, Marquell Cartwright from North Carolina A&T. Another running back is P.J. Simmons from Alcorn State. A wide receiver is Elijah Bell from North Carolina A&T. Another one is Jaquez Ezzard from Howard. That's a wide receiver. We have a tight end, Jordan Jones from Grambling. We have an offensive tackle, offensive lineman, William Waddle from Grambling. We have our offensive lineman, Thomas Burton from Tennessee State. Offensive lineman, Dwayne Brown from Bethune-Cookman. Offensive line, Marcus Pettyfoot from North Carolina A&T. And offensive lineman, Mustafa Ibrahim from Alcorn State. The defense, first team preseason FCS defense is D lineman Stephon Banks from Savannah State, D lineman LeAllen Clark from Grambling. One time for that name, LeAllen. That's one of the greatest names ever. You know he's going to be a good lineman. He got to make it to the NFL with a name like LeAllen. He got to make it to the NFL. That's just an NFL lineman name, LeAllen. Like Bakhtiari. You know, that's an NFL lineman name. So, like your name, Butch, something like that. You know, LeAllen, yeah. So, another defensive lineman is Malachi Washington Jr. from Morgan State. Then we have defensive lineman Vernon Molan from Alabama State. Then we have linebackers Dearius Christmas from Grambling State. He got to make it to the league. That's another football name, Dearius Christmas. That's a football name. He got to play. That's like a lead your team in tackles name right there. So, then we got another linebacker, Patrick Harbin from Mississippi Valley. Then we have a linebacker, Rico Kennedy from Morgan State. Then we have DBs, Franklin McCain III from North Carolina A&T. We have DB Javen Morrison from Alcorn State. We have DB Devonta Reynolds from North Carolina Central. Then we have DB Alex Brown from South Carolina State. The kicker is Marco Oronzako from Grambling State. The punter is Jamie Gillen from University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. And the I guess that's the snapper, the long snapper, or whoever RS or whatever is a return specialist. I guess return specialist is Marcus Taylor from Norfolk State. So that's the first team. The second team offense starts with quarterback Kalen Newton from Howard, Cam Newton's brother. You know we get to Cam Newton a little later in the show. Running back Isaiah Tolton from North Carolina Central. Running back Devin Bowers from FAMU. Wide receiver Stephen Newbold from Tennessee State. Wide receiver Quinn McElfresh from Mississippi Valley. Tight end Josh McCoy from North Carolina Central. Offensive lineman Marley Connolly from North Carolina Central. Offensive lineman Obena Nkwaku from FAMU. Offensive lineman Nick Leverett from North Carolina Central. Offensive lineman Corbin Fanielson from Prairie View A&M. And offensive lineman Philip Norman from Bethune-Cookman. Second team defense is D lineman Nigel Davis from Norfolk State. Defensive lineman Darrell Johnson from North Carolina A&T. D lineman Sam Blue from North Carolina A&T. D lineman Tashad Charity from University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Linebackers are Trey Farrell from Alcorn State, Julian Marcanti from Texas Southern, and Blair Edwards from Tennessee State. Our defensive backs for the second team are Tim Andre Abram from North Carolina A&T, Brian Cook from Howard, Demario Houston from Southern, and Vincent Sellers from Tennessee State. Kicker is Noel Ruiz from North Carolina A&T. The punter is Fidel Romo Martinez from Delaware State, and the return specialist is Devon Johnson from Tennessee State. So that is your FCS, which is more like an HBCU, preseason All-American first and second team. So you know how we do from the Big Sports Podcast to Tallahassee, Florida, to all the way around the world to you, the show. So one time for the first team, second team, all FCS preseason team for football. Football is in the air. 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 Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the weekly rant. Let's get it now. It's time for the weekly rant. Get it now. All right, so 13 University of North Carolina football players have been suspended for selling team-issued shoes. So let's dig into this before we go off, before we rant and before we talk about all this, 13 North Carolina football players will be suspended for at least one game and as many as 4 games during this coming season as the program details the fallout of secondary NCAA violations regarding the sale of team-issued shoes. Well, why were they selling the shoes? I am certainly upset by our players' actions and how their choices reflect on them. Our program and the university, UNC coach Larry Fedora said in a statement, these young men knew the rules and are being held responsible for the poor choices they made. But why did they make those choices? 9 of the 13 suspended players will miss 4 games, the most notable being sophomore quarterback Chad Surratt, the team leader last season in passing yards per attempt, and completion percentage. Surratt has been entrenched in the competition for the starting job with junior Nathan Elliott. Well, hey, Nathan is starting for at least 4 games, right? Another pair, defensive backs Trey Shaw and Greg Ross, will miss 2 games. The quarterback Jack Davidson and offensive lineman Jonah Melton will each miss 1 game. So these are all the names. So this is a This is a tweet by Bridget Cundon. Chapel Hill, after self-reporting a secondary NCAA violation involving the sale of team-issued shoes, 13 North Carolina football players will miss games during the 2018 season. Offensive lineman Brian Anderson, defensive end Malik Carney, wide receiver Bo Corals, defensive end Tomlin Fox, defensive end Tyrone Hopper, offensive lineman Quiron Johnson, linebacker Malik Robinson, quarterback Chad Surratt, and offensive lineman Jordan Tucker will each sit out 4 games. Defensive backs Greg Ross, Trey Shaw will miss 2 games. The quarterback Jack Davidson and the offensive lineman Jonah Melton will miss 1. Because multiple players share the same position, the NCAA approved UNC's request to stagger a few suspensions to protect the health and safety of the students, according to a university release. Defensive end Malik Carney will sit out matchups against East Carolina, number 23 Central Florida, Pittsburgh, and number 17 Virginia Tech. For example, while fellow defensive end Thomas Fox will miss games against Miami, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Carney is a preseason All-ACC contender, and Fox, a sophomore, is viewed as one of the league's top young talents on the defensive line. We are disappointed, athletic director Bubba Cunningham said. We always will strive to get better. Fresh off a highly disappointing 2017, UNC opened the 2018 season on September 1st with a game against California. So, this article really didn't get into the who, what, where, when, and why, so I'm going to just speculate. So, yes, the players were wrong, but were the players really wrong? Because, like we talked about earlier, players are not able to really earn off their likeness and names and things. And sometimes players do things to get money. Because, hey, who don't want to get money? Everybody want money. They see these coaches with these millions of dollars, see these athletic directors, everybody who's involved in athletics get money, and these players ain't getting money. Yes, players know the rules. Players, don't do dumb shit to hurt your chances. Don't do dumb shit to hurt your futures. Don't do dumb shit to hurt your teams. Because that's what y'all players did. So I got to mention that. But at the same time, NCAA and these schools, stop creating the environments that set up these type of actions. You all create these environments. These players ain't getting money. These players ain't getting paid. These players are poor. And y'all say, well, these players ain't really, man, these players poor. You can't be a head coach making $5 to $10 million, and your players are doing all the work. People not coming to see the coach. They're coming to see the kids play, and the players are not even receiving 1% of the revenue that they're bringing in. But at the same time, the players do have to make better decisions that don't negatively impact the team as a whole and their futures as a whole, because now all of these players will have a black mark on their resumes, and people will look at them as if something is wrong with them, when, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, these players are merely trying to survive, trying to make it to the next day, trying to put money in their pocket in a capitalistic system which they're being capitalized off of. Right? So it's like it's a lose-lose situation for these players, because You want money, you need money, you have limited ways to make money because of the contracts and things that you're under from the NCAA and the universities. So when you do things like sell team-issued shoes, which they shouldn't have done, I will acknowledge that, they shouldn't have sold team-issued shoes. But in my opinion, which I could be wrong, they sold the shoes because they need money, and they are in institutions where they're seeing all these other people making money off of their talent. Like, let's just be real. They see these people in these institutions making money off their talent, and now the players are being punished because the environments that they're in. These environments are capitalistic environments that are set up to rape these players for as much as they can. And it's up to these players to take their futures into their own hands. Unfortunately, the way the rules are written, when the player tries to enhance him or herself, an athlete in the NCAA, usually, especially if they're talking about financial enhancement, usually they're met with punishment. You can't sell this. You can't sell that. You would get suspended if you sell a picture of yourself. You would get suspended if you sell your autograph, i.e. Johnny Manziel, which was bullshit. Now, I do admit, don't sell team-issued shoes. That's not smart. You're not trying to help yourself. But at the same time, NCAA and these universities, y'all fucked up for creating these fucked up environments that these players have to exist in. And when they're existing in these goddamn environments, we know that they are financially strapped. They don't have the cachet that a lot of people try to make us believe that they do. These players are not getting what they're worth. If fucking Nick Saban can get paid $10 million at Alabama, you know how you could pay? You want to know how you could pay them players? Take $5 million away from Nick Saban. If you take $5 million out of Nick Saban's salary, because his ass do not deserve to get paid no $10 fucking million to coach no goddamn football. But hey, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him for getting it, and I do understand why he's getting it because hell, the market can do it. It can do it. They can do it. They have the means to do it. Remember, I'm not opposed to people getting what they are worth within their field. Is Nick Saban worth $10 million as a football coach? Yes. Is Nick Saban worth $10 million as a football coach at the expense of these players not being able to get paid because, hell, you got to give the money to somebody? Hell no. No coach is worth that. And these coaches know that they shouldn't be worth that because one of the things that these coaches sell these players on is that loyalty shit so these coaches can ensure job security. It's all, at the end of the day, for a lot of them, about job security because they getting paid. They getting mad money, B. They getting those chips, B. Getting them ducats, B. So before we turn our nose up at these players, let's try to understand the total situation. They are in environments that are created to rape them and capitalize off of the money that they take from these players. And these players, I mean, a lot of them are victims. These players in this situation, they did wrong, but they have fallen victim to the system that they are in, that they signed up to be in, that their parents helped them sign up to be in, created that mindset. Hey, this is where you need to be. You have to play football. Once again, going back, you know a lot of those players black. All of them weren't black, but you know a good number of those players are black, or maybe half of those players are black. Think about how that affects everybody. Some of those players, it's really gonna hurt them long term. Some of them it won't. So we got to, in the black community specifically, we got to better prepare our players and our athletes to exist in the NCAA world. I don't particularly have a problem with players taking money and selling stuff like that, but you can't get mad when you get popped by the rules when you know the rules. But at the same time, why do they got these fucked up rules? And that'd be my beef. That's why I'd be ranting, because the environments are created to capitalize off these players And as soon as these players try to capitalize off of the things that they feel like they can capitalize off of, it's a problem. But you got to be smart when you're a capitalist as well, because the system isn't designed for the players to win in that manner. So the players, if you're trying to win in a manner outside of the rules, you got to be smart about what you're doing. Hey, man, I'm Joseph Ward. This is the Fix Sports Podcast. Oh, yeah, shout out to my dog, Caleb Davis, for sending me that story about the Football Alliance. Shout out to Caleb, man. I appreciate that, big homie. Hey, man, shout out to my homie Doc Love, too. So they're my homeboys, man. Shout out to Javard Grant, Chimo Unwanley, Muhammad Mujahid, Edwin Bennett, the boys out there in Cali doing their thing. Shout out to Mad Dog down there in Miami. Shout out to Shawnee Floyd up in Atlanta doing his thing. Shout out to Amani Floyd. Shout out to, man, who else, man? My dog Mike G. My dog Mike Gaston just won. Say a big shout out. Hold on, I want to give a round of applause. I want to give a round of applause to my dog Mike Gaston. Round of applause. Yeah, big Mike G. That's time for Mike G. I gave Mike G a round of applause because Mike G just recently he got himself into shape, and he recently entered a fitness competition and placed first in this category. He placed first, so that's why I gave Big Mike G the round of applause. Shout out to my dog John Alexander, Champ Pace, Marcus Ardley, my dog Frog, my dog Luther, Skeet, my dog Skeet. All the homies, man. If I forgot your name, forgot to mention your name, ain't no foul play. Grip, big grip, little grip. Shout out to all of them, man. Everybody that we came up with and everybody who's holding it down. I'm proud of my group of friends that I came up with. Shout out to Cam and Mike from the Nothing Above the Moon. I'm proud of the people I came. That's why I'm shouting my folk out, because I'm proud of the people who we weren't supposed to make it and we here.